he essentially said, what's your legal basis? And they didn't have a legal basis.
No, they didn't. They clearly just didn't want to answer the questions. They said that they had consulted the White House about privilege, but they never got an answer, which I thought was a little strange.
Yeah, right.
And Angus King was clearly frustrated because he said, your answers aren't good enough for me.
Right.
And the chairman of the committee, Chairman Burr, at the very end, admonished them and said, at no time should you appear before Congress without an answer to our questions. I mean, this is their job. And they were saying, well, this is Mueller's investigation, it's not appropriate. And they were just saying it's our opinion that it's not appropriate, therefore we're not going to answer.
Is there any other conclusion that they both made a judgment? Dan Coats appointed by the president, Admiral Rogers inherited by the president, but a career military man, that they both made the judgment politically they were not going to discuss that and embarrass the president because something was discussed. We don't know what. They said they were not pressured, but they didn't say there was no such conversation, which they could have said the president, this never came up with the president. Right.
If it never happened, you bet they would have said. It never happened.
Exactly.
Look, this was stonewalling. There's just no other way to say it. They were stonewalling, and the frustration was bubbling over, as you said, not just from the Democrats, but to come from the Republican chair at the very end saying that you can't do this. It is really telling. And just the notion of Dan Coats saying, well, what I promised was that I would talk about it, that I would talk about it in a setting that is not public. It isn't classified. This is not intelligence information. This is potentially privileged information if the White House wants to go there, but they didn't even know. It seemed like it was unnecessarily chaotic and uncomfortable and awkward, and it's unclear why, knowing this hearing was coming, the White House didn't get their ducks in a row, that everybody didn't understand where they stood and what they were going to say, and it was painful.
And nor did they commit. They said they would perhaps, and they were hopeful they could say more in a private setting, not a public setting, but both